Here's a screenshot of my college algebra lessons, and I have put them here in order that is descending. I'm just going to scroll through here and you can see how many lessons I've created for college algebra. The number in front of them corresponds to our text, but you would not have to use that if you didn't want to use that. And then I like a description afterwards so I can tell what that is. So here they are. This little symbol here means lesson. It's a learning module, and I'll open one of these up and show you what it looks like. So here they are. Here's a whole list of them. And let's just pick exponential functions and take a look at that a minute. Alright, so the first thing I want to notice that in this particular format, and if you use Moodle you'll get a different kind of format, but it has a table of contents so the students can see the layout, and I always do it, every one of these is in the same order. The first thing is the text, so it references what text, what page number the text is on, and then there's a reading section, and then it goes through the various lessons, and it always ends up with at-home exercises. So let's look through these in detail here a minute. So again, there's the text, and it gives the page number it starts on. And then here's the reading section. It tells them what to read, and then in this particular case it says it's pointing out that there's something on page 405 that I really want them to understand. If there's any omits, I put that in that section too. And then I wanted to kind of point out what topics we're going to do here in the lesson. And here's a Word document, and I do it in Word and PDF. It's kind of a note-taking or graphic organizer, so they can print that out to take notes on. If I had these done ahead of time, which I will of course for next year, I could print that out ahead of time and then hand that to them in class. I find a lot of students don't have a printer in their room, and a lot of students when they go to do the lesson, it's kind of late at night and they don't want to traipse to another building and print stuff out, so they end up not using the handout and they'll just take notes on the paper. And sometimes the handout is really nice because it might have drawings on it, might have graphs on it, so if you really want them to use a handout you might want to print that out and give that to them ahead of time. So we'll just scroll through here and we see that here's our first lesson, and see I give a little description of it, and then the lesson is embedded right in here. So all they have to do is click this button and it opens in a new window and it plays the lesson for them on YouTube. And then scrolling through we have a second lesson. I tend to do lots of little mini lessons for a couple reasons. So they can, like if they wanted to go back and find one particular lesson, they didn't have to watch 30 minutes of a whole video just to find the example they wanted. They can go right to the example they want. And the other thing is that I can give a little description of each video there, and so they can find what they need easier. And here's another lesson on compound interest, and then here's another lesson on half-life, and then here's a lesson on converting between exponential and half-life, and then another lesson. Now this one uses the graphing calculator, and now's a good time for me to pull that up. I can just do that right here. So I have a graphing calculator emulator on my computer, so I can pull that up and I can demonstrate problems right here to them, and then I do a screen capture of this. I can graph with it, I can explain how to find a window, I can do stat plots with it, so this is really handy. And then when I do a screenshot of this, it's embedded right in the video, just like you are seeing, so they can see the keystrokes right there. That is just super handy. And then I always close with the same thing. I always have a set of at-home exercises pertaining to this particular section. These are the ones that are to be done at home. So again, I always have those right at the end. So the format is always the same. And then let's switch over to a site here a minute. So that's my own home site, and I keep my I keep them all there, all the lessons there. And when I'm ready to release them, here I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. I release them one at a time, and they're called learning modules. And here they are. So I post them one at a time. I always put the new one on the top and the due date when I want it done, and I always color code it. I just think that that's kind of handy. But then you can see here, this is from last semester, these are open all semester. So they can go back and they can, oh yep, that one's on Halloween. So they can go back and look at any of those anytime all semester. Okay. So that kind of gives you a peek of how I set up my learning modules, and I'm using my screencasting software to do this.